Okay, I think all is in order. So as always, welcome to Spirit Rising, our sacred space and container where we get to dive into the depths of who we are while exploring this journey with each other so that we might better connect to ourselves, better understand our desires, what we truly want and desire in life, tap into our sacred wisdom, and welcome and affirm the truth that we hold and that others in this space hold. We know that we depend on the journey of this collective to grow and stretch and be and become. And just thank you for being present on this particular rest stop for the spirit. With open hearts and minds, let us briefly come off of mute and just greet the space.
Ashe, Ashe, Grand Rising.
Hello.
Morning, everyone. Happy
Hello,
Friday.
everybody.
Good morning, everyone. I know
Morning,
it's working just fine.
What a great group we are today. Good morning, all.
Good morning.
Good morning, family.
Fabulous. And with that, I will pass this to the lovely Tamara to open with prayer and our altar lighting.
Alafia.
Can you hear me?
There's a little bit of an echo, Tamira, so you might
Okay,
wanna...
I'll turn the other computer off. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's great.
Good. Alafia, good morning. I am going to offer invocations. So in this moment, there's an invitation to bring into your own heart space whatever your intentions are for our time together today, and to be in the space and the place of calling in any and every being rooted in love and liberation that supports you on your journey as we open the space. Ibasio, we welcome the sweetness of life. Ibasio Mitutu, we call in the cool waters that hold the memories of our ancestral belonging. Ibasio Riegun, we welcome the wisdom of our wise and loving ancestors. Egungun, Kiki Egungun, Eguni Kurama, Feawo, Puo Poi Poi. Odoso Bafon Lewo, Eguni Ku, Batabango, Eguni Ku, Egunde. Biaba Fatori Nale Egunde, Ashe, Asheo, Ashe, Asheo. We welcome all the wise and loving ancestors rooted in truth, love, and liberation. We welcome our helping spirits, our guides, and our allies, and all of those ones unknown by name that conspire to support us on our journeys of love and liberation. We welcome you into this space today, and we ask that you presence yourself in ways that are easeful for our bodies and our minds and our nervous systems to connect with you and your wisdom. We ask that you support us in illuminating the ancestral wisdom that is already living in our bones and in our bodies. Help us to be in deep connection with that medicine. Help us to be in the space of giving that medicine permission to blossom in our lives, to support not only our journeys, but to support the communities and the collectives that we are woven into. We welcome your beauty. We welcome your medicine. We welcome your presence, and we thank you for all the ways that you have companioned us in this lifetime and outside of this lifetime. We greet you with Alafia and Ide. We welcome you. We welcome you. We say Alafia and welcome. Ile Aye Arvon Atecha Ayord. We greet you, great spirit of the earth, sustainer and sculptor of these bodies that are clay. We welcome you into this space. We welcome your love. We welcome your nourishment. We welcome your presence. And we thank you for all the ways that you nourish our bodies and our beings. We invite your wisdom into this space, and we ask that you help us to ground all of the beauty and all of the wisdom that is present in the space into our bodies, Help us stay grounded and present in your love and in your care. Help us to integrate the medicines that are here today in ways that are easeful. And thank you. Thank you for your companionship and thank you for your love. And may our time together today be nourishing for us and also for the body and the spirit of the earth. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. We say alafia and welcome to all of the First Nations whose people's lands we are resting on. We thank you for your stewardship of these lands, your love of these lands, your tending of these lands. We welcome your wisdom to those ones of place that support us where we are. We thank you, we thank you. May this time together be nourishing. May it be good. Asheo, Asheo.
We can just breathe together. Samira, absolutely. Thank you for that. Beautiful as always. My heart feels open as it should. We have done so much in this space this year and such. We've been able to land on some foundations, a living foundation of practices, not as a limitation and not exhaustive, but areas of shared frameworks and belief that ground this particular space. There's always a link to them, but I wanted to ensure that we kind of welcome those things into this space today. Carolyn?
Allow me to share the foundations of practice for our Spirit Rising community. The first is we trust love as the greatest universal power. Second, we honor the divine as spoken by any name, God, Creator, Most High, High Power, Mother Earth, Supreme Being, Universe, Cosmic Mother, Holy Spirit, Guiding Intelligence. We honor you, Holy One, by all these names and more. Third, we focus on collective liberation through spirit while emphasizing personal experience and individual transformation. Fourth, we believe spiritual intimacy and oneness, connectedness with the divine is an accessible relationship for all. Fifth, we recognize joy and pleasure as rooted essences of our soul, and we invite their full expressions in our lives and into this spiritual container. Oh, thank you, Momo, for teaching us this one. And what number is this? I think it's 6th. We are rooted by the profound welcome, a persistent, unqualified yes, taught to us by our lead teacher, Rebecca, who extends unconditional belonging. 7th, we dare to stand in the spaces of hurt and hope to fully witness the possibility of creation from this place. 8, we lovingly explore the intersections of spiritual development and transformative justice. Yes, 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 we do that. Yes. 9, we embrace the truth wherever we find it. Yes. And 10, we welcome the wildness and wholeness of our spirits as evidence of our essence. 11, we honor the sacred space of our container with grace, empathy, and protection. And finally, we believe in the power of our collective as manifestation of the wholeness of being that connects and sustains all life. Praise and ashe for this beautiful living document that Adande, that you've helped us co-craft as a community. Blessed be.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Lizzie, there is a link at today's email, but every week there is a link at the bottom of the email that has our Spotify, the link for the Foundations of Practice, and the book list as well on Goodreads. As we stand on the threshold of a new season, time of rebirth and renewal symbolized by the new year, let us open our hearts to fully embrace Spirit. Today, in this sacred moment of time, we will offer space to rededicate ourselves to growth, to intention, to self-love and self-compassion, to radical acceptance, to wild Spirit life every day forward. Today, we are called to dive deep into the well springs of our souls, to engage in a profound act of self-reflection, to reflect and re-envision, to envision bigger, to rewrite the vision, to see in detail a future that we co-create with the divine. Today, let your voice be heard in a chorus of affirmation celebrating the infinite possibilities that lie before us. This today is a time to shed the old skins of the past, to release what no longer serves us, to step boldly into the uncharted territories of our wildest and highest and best selves. Today is an opportunity to remember newness and how every day, in fact, reminds us of newness. Let us remember that we are not merely passive observers in our lives, but active co-creators with Spirit. Every breath we take is a sacred covenant, a promise to live in alignment with our deepest and highest self. Let the rhythm of our hearts beat in unison with the heartbeat of the universe, reminding us of interconnectedness with all creation. Let us dance with the divine today. Let us move with grace and fluidity of the Spirit that flows through and around us. We will now have a prayer for the community with Lizzie, yes, and Mama Love.
Out of darkness came light.
And the power of Spirit was revealed in running waves and the flowing air, and in the quiet earth and the shining stars.
Out of dust came life.
And the image of the divine was revealed in the human face and the gentle heart and the warmth of body and the depth of soul.
Out of justice came freedom.
And the wisdom of God was revealed in the need to grow and the will to love, in the chance to know and the power to choose. Together, we acknowledge the Supreme Spirit, the Creator, the source of all things. Ashe.
For our community,
We amplify the divine wisdom and the knowledge of our ancestors and spirit guides.
for every soul present,
We pray for divine faculty of memory to recall the rooted self in all its beauty and magic. We ask the Most High for the faculty of imagination to dream and visualize the fullness of our own capabilities and the activation of the Holy Spirit. Ashe.
Ashe. For Mother Earth,
We thank you for cultivating and nourishing and housing our bodies. Your very presence is the most pure form of creation, and your land holds the power of people's past and present. Ashe.
Ashe. For the wind,
Without you, we are breathless. You shift the tides and create newness. Your movement is a reminder that every moment is an opportunity to conquer our challenges. Ashe.
for fire,
Your illumination is our invitation to always shine bright with passion and energy. May we always use our magic and explore your healing mystery. Ashe.
and for water,
May we always feel your gentle current of calm, peace, and tranquility. We thank, honor the comfort provided in your sacred flow. Ashe. Amen. May it be so.
But you can see we have a smorgasbord of things that are present in our space that are bringing us all, hopefully, our spirits open into oneness, but multiple opportunities to reclaim the space you take up. One of my favorite songs that I've played this year is Take Up Spaces, because it is important that we remember to stand 10 toes down, like the young folks say. We're going to stand on business, okay, all year round. All right, Momo, you feel me? So, in keeping with the spirit of this week, as today is the last day of, one more, of Kwanzaa, I wanted to ensure that we honor the Nguzo Saba and what it means as a guiding light for us moving forward. So I pass the mic to Sweet Tea and Momo.
Today, we stand at the threshold of newness, the proverbial representation of rebirth and regeneration. As such, the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba can provide insight as our guiding stars. In the sacred container, we blend these truths into our lives, not just as principles, but as a breath of our collective spirit.
Ashe. We begin with Umoja, the unity beat, the heartbeat that calls us to oneness, the drum beat that reminds us of spirit, the sounds of our ancestors, the voice of our creator. It's more than just coming together. It's a symphony of hearts, a chorus of souls singing the same song. With this rhythm, we recall dance. We give our bodies over to the rhythm that moves us as one. We surrender to the call to be united in purpose and passion. We fully embrace ourselves as a necessary part of the whole.
Ashe. Kuji Chagalia, the Self-Determination Symphony, our solo in the symphony of life. This is where we stand tall, where our voices rise in a crescendo of empowerment. We name ourselves, we claim our stories, painting our future with bold strokes of our own design. We move forward, we press on, we embrace the spirit of intention. Every eye is the center of its universe. So we claim our mastery and the right to be amazing.
Ashe. Ujima, the harmony of collective work, the harmony that enriches our melody. It's the way we lift each other, the way our hands join to build, to heal, to uplift. It's the root of we all, we got. Ministries. In this space, we pledge to share the load, to weave a tapestry of support and strength. We accept responsibility for being keepers of each other, for sitting and supporting while another does the work of healing. We dream together, build together, evolve together, strive together, hurt together, tend together. We are better together.
Ashe. Ujamaa, the rhythm of cooperative economics, beats like the heart in our community. It's the rhythm of support, of investing in us. It is the welcoming of a funding stream that flows abundantly and is nurtured responsibly. It's remembering that when one thrives, we all thrive. This is how we ignite the foundation of collective prosperity, how we spark the fire of our beliefs and maintain the ability to thrive. This rhythm calls us to learn and grow so we can take care of our own.
Ashe, Nia, the purposeful dance calls us to move with intention, to see and embrace the syncopation of our perfectly woven destiny. It is finding our step, our groove in the grand dance of life. It is an invitation to always seek soul alignment, to seek our role, our unique contribution to the masterpiece that is our community.
Ashe. Kuumba, the creative flow, the jazz improvisation of life. It's painting new words, dreaming in vivid colors, singing new songs. It's pouring energy into a sea bright with innovation and beauty. It is the dedicated will to architect newness where once there was nothing or chaos. It is perfectly imperfect, pretty, present in our souls, seeking a way to enter the world whole.
Ashe. And we conclude with Imani, the faith chorus. Rising to the heavens, it is the deep knowing, the unshakable belief in our journey, in our people, in our ability, in our partnering. It is the rooted knowledge of divine presence and divine reflection. It is our anchor, the steadfast promise that every season passes, that joy comes in the morning, that power and might is nothing without the decision to believe. The faith chorus sings a song of eternity that we can always hear.
Ashe. And as we embrace these principles, let them not just be words, but the rhythm of our walk, the melody of our talk, the harmony of our community. In this rededication, we are more than individuals. We are a symphony of spirits, a choir of souls, united in purpose and strengthened by our shared journey. Let's step forward, hand in hand, heart in heart, into a future resplendent with unity, purpose, and endless possibility.
Ashe, thank you. Thank you for being part of the sacred dance. Let's move with courage, with love, and with an unwavering faith in what we can create together.
Ashe.
Yes, Ashe. 7 principles of the Nguzi Saba are ones that can be revisited many times throughout the year. And Mamo, that was interesting. It just so happened that you ended up with the ones that involved movement and dance. That's so funny. I love how spirit aligns. I do want to take a moment to just welcome everyone into the space. Good morning, Mama Love. Good morning, Carolyn. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Stacy. Tess, I don't know where you are, but it looks amazing. You are not in St. Louis. That is for certain, but it looks great. I'm so happy that you are someplace outside and with sunshine. Good morning again, Samir. Good morning, Eileen. Good morning, Momo. Good morning, Taya. Good morning, Sweetie. Good morning, Lizzie. Good morning, Erin. So happy to have you with us. Bettini, happy to have you. Good morning, Mama Regina. And good morning, Cynthia. December 31st is an interesting time of year. Many people lean into, the new year, new me. We write resolutions, we list things, sometimes grandiose, sometimes with intentions, sometimes not considering what needs to be truly planted or tended in our spirits. Tamara told us early this year that sometimes we're not in the planting season, but we are in the spirit of tending our soil, tending our soul in order to prepare. December 31st often brings people into a space of wonderment, all of the things that I can do next year, that dreaming big, that dreaming into, that hopeful energy that reminds us that anything is possible. I want us to remember that it's not just about the new year. Every day we wake up, there is something new. There is something forthcoming. Every moment that we breathe is another opportunity to be more of who we are and more in who we are meant to be than who we were a moment before. Every moment. I don't care what you did 2 seconds ago. You might have said something out your mouth that you were like, ooh. The next moment is an opportunity to be like, you know what? I can do better than that. I can be better than that. I am better than that. Or maybe I'm exactly as I want to be because you needed to hear that. I don't know your story. What I'm saying is that December 31st should be a reminder to hold on to this energy, not one to celebrate and let go. If we are going to continue a space of newness, we get to do that on a daily basis. In Matthew 26, there's a story about how Jesus told his crew to watch and pray while he goes to a nearby space to pray lamentations because he's about to experience a death and resurrection and he knows it. But knowledge doesn't always bring solace. And I want us to hold there. Knowledge doesn't always bring about solace. Now, there are two things, and we're going to get into the watch night aspect of December 31st, but there are two things that are important about this particular passage. One, Jesus brought with him a selected group. Jesus's group was selective, but also people kind of joined as followed, right? But he took some and brought them to pray and to watch. We're not going to talk about what they did. We're just going to talk about the intentions here. Okay. He brought people with him to pray and walk. He chose the people. Come pray for me here and keep watch because I need to go over there and have a conversation. I need to go over there and experience all that's happening in me. I need to go a little bit further to feel the depth of what I'm feeling, but I need you here to commit to praying and watching. Your job is to keep this connectivity with source, with the universe. Your job is to watch to make sure that I am not harmed because what I'm about to go do is going to take all of my effort and energy. The intention behind this story says that Jesus needed to step away because he needed to lament, shake his fist at God, cry, hurt, feel, stress, worry, wonder, get mad, be sad, hurt, confused, feel it so that he could release it and get back to doing the job that he needed to do. Get back to being the he that he knew that he could be. But he got to get all of this out. And while I'm feeling through this, I need to make sure that there are some people covering me. There are times when we consider the newness and we forget what we need from our community. It is okay. In fact, sometimes it is necessary to call somebody and say, we don't have to talk, but I need you to hold a container while I cry. I don't need you to solve this problem. And in fact, I know that I'm going to be all right, but I need you in this space with me so I can get it out. Vent is not the same thing as complaining. Venting is a form of release. I just got to get this up out of me. And maybe there's some concern of what it looks like if I try to do that without some loving covering. I need you to be in this space, connected to source. While I lament, you pray and watch. Keep watch over me. I need to make sure that while I allow myself to fully go into this emotion, that I'm going to be safe, and I am trusting you to hold me here. I am trusting you to keep space. Now, many Christians, this story is still the biblical backup for what a watch night service is, but I want to talk about Freedom's Eve, because that's tonight. And that's the one that I feel is a little bit more important. This is a special night in 1862 when many enslaved folk gathered, some in secret, much like hush harbors, to wait in anticipation of the coming of a new day. Because this day, this new day, would be unlike any day they had come to know. Now, I want to pause here because, again, every next day is a day unlike any one that we've already come to know. Every day is a Freedom's Eve. This day was a day their freedom would be bestowed. Now, of course, we're talking legality, right? Because we live in a world where what's on paper can determine how you move in this world. Now, remember that enslaved folk couldn't even move about the land without a paper signed by somebody who claimed sovereignty over their bodies. But today we're talking about a new day, the eve of freedom. In fact, even some that were legally free still had to keep a piece of paper safe and secure, where one man could tell another man that this person was in fact free to move about autonomously. But we're talking about a new day. We're talking about what it means to own your freedom. So on this day, December 31st, 1862, Black folk in this land who knew, gathered together to pray, to watch, to wait, to anticipate, to reflect, to lament, to release, to love, to shout, to holler, to jump, to dance, scream, praise, to give thanks, to embrace this new understanding of freedom, this legal freedom. And as we sit on the precipice of this new year, as one year will shift into the next year, or as they said, as one year shifted into the next year, their literal position may have been the same, but they had something new. That switch from 11:59 to 12 midnight, they were given something new. Just that moment, I might still be in the same space, but that moment of time, that change gives me something different, something I haven't had before. The shifting of time gives us something that we haven't had before, and they demonstrate that. The Emancipation Proclamation went into effect on January 1st, 1863. At the stroke of midnight, they had something new. They now had the ability to define and re-understand their freedom. Hear that. The moment there is a shift from 11:59 to 12 midnight, we have the opportunity to see, redefine, re-understand our freedom. No matter what we did the moment before, we might be sitting in the same space. The things around us may not have changed, but the moment that time shifts, the moment there is another moment, we have an opportunity, and we don't often think about that part. What it means to define it, not just dream about it, but see it. And I don't mean the vision boards that we create to manifest, but how big is your understanding of the possibilities of your freedom? How much do you understand how expansive your soul already is? How do you see your freedom and believe it yourself? The Bible also says, write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision, make it plain. If I do not define myself for myself, I will be crunched into others' fantasies and eaten alive. Write the vision, make it plain, define it, see it, understand it, newness every day. 11:59, when it turns into midnight, you are offered something new. It's 11:56. When it turns into 11:57, you're offered something new. Every moment of time, you get an opportunity to see yourself anew, to stand differently, to embrace and to understand. Before we can talk about rededication, we got to talk about what does it mean to be dedicated to our own freedom. We have to understand our own sovereignty. We have to understand that our understanding of being a co-conspirator with Source means that we are all the center of our own destiny. All of us. And that creates the most beautiful and intricate web of life and experience, of love, wisdom, faculties that grow and expand beyond any of our potential imaginations. Before we can rededicate, we got to be dedicated to freedom, to our heart's freedom, to our soul's freedom, to giving ourselves an unlimited opportunity to experience something new again. Unlimited opportunities to experience something new again. Our souls ain't gonna run out. Neither does the connection with Source. We have definitely learned this year that it is a fallacy that our ancestors are waiting on us to stop thinking that we are doing this alone. Thank you, Rebecca. To stop seeing ourselves as alone in this world. And that does not mean that you won't get lonely at times, but that's when we gonna go back to Matthew and 26. That's when you need to call a friend so you can lament. On this eve of 2024, ain't that crazy to say? Ooh, ooh, ooh. On this eve, 2024, as we move into the section where we get to review all that we've learned, all the journeys, all the thoughts that have come to, through, by, settled in you. I want you to remember that every night, in fact, is a watch night. That every night is, in fact, Freedom's Eve. Excuse me, that every moment that we look forward, we have an opportunity to optimistically or realistically keep our eyes pierced on the horizon, on the big picture, on the freedom that we see and define. I invite you to share not just how you potentially are defining your freedom, or even what you might need to define freedom. But here's also our opportunity. Scroll through your notes, flip back through some pages, look at the things that you starred or circled or highlighted or found yourself coming back to throughout the year. And on this watch night, give us all an opportunity to see the wisdom that has carried you so that it might also carry us. The floor is open for reflection. I don't have tea, but I do have ginger ale this morning. Y'all know I will wait.
I want to say you've stunned me with your brilliance, Adande, and left me a bit speechless. And just the animation of the spirit that's coming through you is quite stunning. And of course, the container was set so beautifully by community. Thank you. I'm deeply moved. And I'll just plant one little piece of inspiration. I looked at former Spirit Rising notes. I didn't get very far, but I got to this. I remembered the message shared by Rebecca about the plantation preacher and how that one long forgotten to history inspired the grandmother of Howard Thurman. And he really called her out, or was saying, like I hate to say the word, but you ain't no nigger. You're a being of God. You have this inherent freedom and divinity and sovereignty. And this plantation preacher unknown to history planted that seed in the grandmother of Howard Thurman, who carried that forward and ignited Proctor, the young man of Proctor, and the Proctor Conference that has inspired many in our community. So that message, that seed of liberation has been carried forward through this one who's been lost to history. And Rebecca gave us the inquiry: with what degree of fervor and dedication am I tipping the scales towards love? And I just loved that provocation. And as you were sharing this morning, I thought of, with what degree of fervor and dedication am I living my sovereignty and freedom? With what degree of fervor and dedication am I claiming my inherent sovereignty of my soul, the freedom of my soul to express fully as who I am in this world? Those provocations were coming to me as I received your message and continue to integrate that powerful offering of Rebecca.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember that story. And Will you repeat the question with what degree of, I missed a word.
Yeah, the original provocation was, with what degree of fervor and dedication
Perfect.
am I tipping the scales towards love? But
Mm,
I thought it also applies so well because it's one and the same. With what degree of fervor and dedication am I embracing living my freedom?
yes. Those are two very powerful questions that I don't know how y'all feel, but sometimes the questions that provoke thought are all I need to kind of get my head and my to get out of my head and get my heart and my spirit connected in the day. Like it is those things that while it's a question, it doesn't necessarily require an immediate answer, but it is an invitation for these two parts of me to come together and be reflected as I move through my day. So there's something about this, you know, we live in a space that always says that, well, if there's a question mark, there needs to be a period, right? Next, if I ask you something, I need a response, but sometimes the response is in the lived experience. Thank you for raising these two, because these are two questions that we can just waltz on through and into the next year. And let me make your soul at ease. It was a direct quote. So using the term is okay in that in particular instance. So I appreciate you excusing or pardoning yourself to begin with. Other thoughts? Remedy, go for it.
Jiao. It means good morning in Mandarin because it's already New Year's on the other side of the globe, where a majority of my blood relatives live. And I opened my Healing Chronicles book to, I'm pretty sure this is from Spirit Rising. What does it mean to be with those whose love flows, as opposed to using you for your willingness to love? And I find
Oh no, did we lose her? Oh, that was gonna be so good wherever we were going. Um, I'm so excited for the return. Oh, okay. Well, let's shift to someone else until Remedy pops back into the space.
I could share a reflection.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, actually,
Oh,
and Remedy's back. So keep going. Are you with us, Leanie? Oh no.
oh,
She's experiencing. Okay. Oh, no, back. No.
okay.
You with us? You want to keep it going?
can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Did y'all catch the hopeful?
Rewind about two sentences.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be with those whose love flows, as opposed to using you for your willingness to love? And when I reread that line, it immediately coalesced for my reflection of late has been my ability to thrive when I am surrounded by those that embrace exactly who I am without judgment. And that is, in the majority of those, is my chosen family. So I've been celebrating and really needing to soak in that wisdom in terms of what can feed my growth into the new year and what I've learned that supports my well-being. So with my family that I was born into, I am looking forward very much to being unapologetically myself and allowing that it is their problem if they cannot accept that. And that feels very liberatory. And in terms of like my spiritual mission, I have sort of, I guess, rededicated myself to my role as a peaceful warrior against those that would use the name of God for hatefulness. And that has been a huge hurt of warmth amongst my community, and I share that with y'all in the midst of kind of taking in all that's been sort of sifted to the top. And I wish that unlimited compassion for everyone that deserves it. And I recognize that I've not always been able to provide that for myself as I see unto my dearest friends. And being able to shed that gaze towards my own well-being is a huge game changer. And it was, my cat got caught in my pillow. It was sad, but also an important realization to notice that that I wasn't holding myself to the same non-judgmental kindness that I have no hesitation giving to my wonderful friends. And so I know there's a song that probably would be quintessential to that, and being your own best friend. But I highly recommend it. Ashe.
Thank you for that. I just want to highlight something. Well, a couple of things. One about turning our own gaze inward, and that last part about being your own best friend is those things go together wonderfully. Oh, Carolyn, that's exactly where I was going. I wrote down a peaceful warrior. And it made me think about something you said earlier this year. You said something to the effect of my fears and tears create steam, and I'm tired of being scalded. So when you said peaceful warrior, I'm like warrior, you're thinking, but that immediately popped into my mind, and I'm like, right, because and I should know this, I'm an Aries, and there's a proverb that says a ram may bully not with its horns, but with its heart. Everything doesn't have to be a bloody battle. And that doesn't change the fact that we are warriors and what we are a warrior for, what we go to battle for, what we are fighting for. And you definitely highlight that for us on a regular basis, that peaceful warrior. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Remedy, for that. Other thoughts?
I could share a reflection.
Yeah.
And it's not yeah, it's not specific to a specific spirit rising. I'm kind of looking through my journal and I'm like, oh, I should have a special spirit rising journal because it's hard to find the notes from each Sunday. But and I know that there have been so many Sundays this year that have left me so filled up, that have inspired me, that have touched me and moved me really deeply in really deep places, that have left me feeling yeah, so grounded and so connected and so woven into the fabric of community. And I think that's what I really feel present to right now on this like sweet, beautiful New Year's ritual that you're weaving, Adande, that's just like really special. And I had no clue it was going to be so special. And I'm so glad I'm here. And I'm just struck, I think like what I feel most struck by is the community that we've been weaving here for years now. And that really has in a lot of ways cohesed or anchored deeper through COVID, I think. Like even though there was a particular kind of sweetness that we had in the in-person space, there's just a real feeling here for me, at least in this space of home and of community and of togetherness and of like real relationship that has been built week after week after week over the last several years. So I'm just noticing that and wanting to lift that up and just express gratitude for that. I feel so grateful and so like a yes. There's a lot of yes in my spirit about being a part of this community and continuing forward in practice and in just being with you all.
I love that. Just the continued yes. Just a lot of yes. I love that. It's emphatic. I don't know if this was this year or last year. I just know that I've quoted you several times with the idea of living in an orgasmic life. Like that has been, and somehow we need to fit that into our foundations of practice. Like, something about our right to do that. And it definitely is aligned with joy and pleasure, but just our right to do that. And that's the beauty of this space. We share and these thoughts come and it sparks things and we get to carry them with us and we're constantly reminded when I hopped to Amanda and asked her if I could hijack her Sunday because I had this kind of thought and creative vision, but it was Mama Love led us in this full session of just reflecting and going through our notes last year, and I thought how amazing that was, and what a way to do that in the transition to tomorrow. Like what an amazing moment to begin to reflect on all of the juicy tidbits that we've been given, all of the wisdom that's been shared, and these spaces that have now become a part of who we are or how we carry ourselves forward. There are some things that you all have said in this space that have rocked me to my core, that I have posted places, that I have repeated, that I have searched for so I can tell somebody else, that I've called after a session, like, let me tell you. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Thank you, Lizzie, for just that general reflection and reminder of the continued yes, the bunch of yeses. I'm such a spaz because now in my mind I'm thinking about little minions all over the place. Like, sorry. Okay. Floor is still open for reflections. Stacy, go for it. So happy to have you today.
Good morning and afternoon, ladies. As I don't know whether all West Indians use this term, but at least folks in Barbados, today is what we call All Year's Night. So before we start focusing on the new year, there is a reflection, as we're doing here, on the past. Those are my people in the country of my birth, which is the US. There's a focus on the new year immediately. So this feels very natural to me, what you're doing, but it's more focused than I have been practicing in the last, I don't even know how many years. Too focused on work, not focused enough on health and self and the things that could possibly lead to an orgasmic life. So when I think back in the tradition of my people and in the tradition of what we're doing today about the past year or two, I think about, and I've mentioned this before in this space, being forced through pain and likely encouraged through ancestors, but not even going back too far because I feel my mother all up in the mix of this. To what feels like to shift in a very violent way, away from, this is going to sound counterintuitive, but shifting almost violently away from the sense of community that I had before. In lots of ways, the gifts that I have speak to helping Black people specifically, but all other people, by challenging directly systems of oppression. And I'm sure you all can imagine the scars and the dents and the digs, the chunks that get taken out of you as a result. And that was in addition to doing my job. So liberation work is like, it shows up an attachment to everything, right? So, and in many ways, yes, that could possibly benefit me, but I was always very clear that what I was trying to do wasn't in service of myself, it was in service of my people. So in those predominantly white spaces, those predominantly straight spaces, those incredibly entitled and ignorant spaces, when some ignorant thing was said, I always made sure that I was the voice against that thing, unless there was physical danger, right? That I would give myself that out. And it always took chunks and pieces. There was always sacrifice, and I was willing to make it. Because our ancestors did that work for us. And they had no conception of me in their existence. These unknown, faceless people that I will never see, but they are in my DNA. They're in yours. They're in the DNA of people that might not even consider themselves mine, but they were doing work on my behalf. So I thought what the least I could do is to continue in that vein, right? But as I told you guys before, all of this sickness, cancer, spinal injury, literally my reproductive organs all deciding to fail in one way or another, forced me, that's the violence that I was talking about, forced me to stop and to pay more attention to self and to recognize that I was in my own way. And it's not that the work isn't important, it's essential. But I needed to get out of my own way. I need to get out of my own way. I need to open up. I need to, one, focus in different places. And I suspect that it will allow me to do the work that I was trying to do before even better once I get to the next places. But I think that's one of the main things that this year has allowed me to discover. And Rebecca will remember when we were in grad school, I used to say, you know, I know I'm a member of my community, but I don't want to be one of the people. I want to help the people. Like I didn't want anybody to have to divert resources to me. I wanted to amplify, like, you know what, you guys know what I'm trying to, at least, y'all will know what I'm trying to say. Except, I'm like, I'm one of the people. And all of us are. And we all need to, it's, you know, the whole silly, but the airplane thing, like you have to, there's no way that you can take care of community and not self. There's just no way to do it. There's no way to do it. And I'm glad that there is no way to do it, because there is, someone said something in this space, or I think it was someone here, but it might not have been. It was Maya Angelou who said, I come as one and stand as 10,000. I can't remember if I heard this here or if it was someone else that I was talking to or something I was listening to or reading. And I think that at least has helped me this year shift to a space where I'm like, okay, you've been trying the same stuff I'm 52, for 52 years. You haven't gotten where something in me knows I need to be. Get out of, like, that's what I was talking about with surrender. Getting out of my own way, not a giving up, but a giving over. And I think it's the thing that came to me today was, don't treat the opening yourself to here, don't treat that process as a way station in the coming days. Sit in that space. Practice that as much as you want to practice the doing better. I need to integrate that into my spirit and my practice, the opening up, the being able to listen for the voice wherever the voice comes from. And if I honestly feel like if I practice that the way I practice singing or dancing or architecture, which is what I'm trying to learn now, that will be, and also put the energy that I have put into work that I'm unfortunately really good at, but not called to do. If I put that energy into something that I am called to do, I suspect that it will be whatever this is. So I will stop there because I'm rambling, I think, but I think that's where my reflection is. I'm sorry, I don't know what it is, but I'm always having hot flash. Well, I actually do know what it is. The hot flash is medication for the cancer. But that's where my spirit is. This is why I'm with you guys every week now. This is why you were talking about a rededication, Adande. I think for me it's a dedication. Next year I might be able to rededicate. But I feel like right now I'm in a dedication kind of space, showing up in a way that my spirit knows but hasn't been practicing. So again, I know I keep thanking you ladies, but thanks for allowing me to be in this space. I find it to be incredibly helpful to be a student in your presence.
Student and teacher, you call that rambling. I got half a page of notes.
It was rambling.
So before I highlight some things, all I want to say is we just found out that you were a dancer, and now you're learning to be an architect. Like, Stacey, I don't know what is in your mind or what level of intelligence you are reaching towards, but amen to all of that. You make me think of when you said they had no concept of me, which just kind of took my breath away. Freedom work ain't easy. We all know that. Everybody on this call knows that freedom work, liberatory work is not easy, no matter what side of it or how you dive into it. But Reverend Gabby said something earlier that's something to the effect of how even those whose names won't be remembered still have an impact on humanity. And that's what you brought me into. And this idea of, sometimes we think that the little things that we do don't matter or won't matter, but you saying that they had no concept of me. Plenty before did some things because it was the right thing to do to change the course of what was happening so that we could live a more just and liberatory and free existence in many different areas and spaces for many different types of people and peoples that have been placed on the outside, marginalized or ostracized for some aspect of their being. They worked on the behalf of those that would come, having no concept of me as an individual. That is powerful. And the work that we do is the same.
It really is. I cannot tell you how big, little, in between. I cannot tell you how many times this is something that is well practiced to me. This is this conception of, this is hard, or I don't feel like showing up. And then I cannot tell you how in every aspect of my being, there's somebody did it for me. Someone did it for me. And not even just then. There's so many, even at this job that I'm unfortunately good at, but has been killing me. There were advances I made, and I was just like, well, how did that happen? How did I get selected for this? The number of times that my name was being spoken in rooms where I was not present, where I was being recommended on the strength of something that I had done or said or whatever and didn't know. So there's so many ways in which our ancestors, spirit, the universe, each other, we are in service. And I'm like, I think there is tremendous power in that. And that's a spiritual flow in which I always want to exist. Yes. I want to keep the river moving. But I have learned that I need to not do that to my detriment. there needs to be balance, as there always. We know that, right? I'm relearning it.
Yes. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. You had me over here in my head like, somebody pray for me. Going, oh, somebody did it for me. Amen. And absolutely. That's where you took me to. The last thing that I just want to highlight, or just a kind of question that can sit in all of us at some point. Rebecca asked the question and just a wondering, but who will I be if I'm not who I've practiced? And your entire sentiments brought me back to that question. Who will I be if I'm not who I've practiced? But we get an opportunity. Oh, Stacey, want to make sure. Old Year's Night. Did I get that right? Amen. I like that. I like that. I like that framing. I like that.
The new year will come, but
yes, I'm loving it.
Look back, and if you're not grateful,
that's
another thing we need to practice, right? So
yes. I just want to acknowledge Mama Maybell. Welcome. Thank you for being here. You have rounded out our elder triad. So I'm so happy to see your face in this space today.
Hey, Mama Maybell. I don't see her though.
She's there.
Stacey.
Where's my mama? I don't see her.
You might have to scroll pages.
Hello, Spirit Rising.
Oh, there you are.
Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Blessings for you for 2024. Thank you for being here for me on this last day of 2023. God bless.
Okay, Tamara, go for it. Uh-oh, Tamara, you still there?
Alafia, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There we go. I am appreciating everything that everyone is sharing. And Adonde, it's so funny because that was the quote that I had written down. Rebecca said about who will I become if I am other than what I practice. That was my thing that I have been just drawn to for the purposes of today, because I feel like this community really is a field of practice to become something and someone other than what I have practiced. And every Sunday is a provocation and an invitation to enter a practice field to do something different. And it feels really beautiful to have the ashe of communal support and holding to do that, because it feels like the impulse towards moving in the direction of difference is held in a different way when there is a community container that holds it. And so I'm so grateful just for everything Spirit Rising offers and holds. And I've been sitting a lot with just fear. And I know we've talked about fear in this space before. And I keep thinking of the story that Rebecca told, having the dream, being in the house with her mother and the wolf knocking at the door like it was coming to get her. And then in one instance, her mom opens the door and the wolf eats her, but then she's alive again. And she's back down in the kitchen like nothing ever happened. And so I've been reading Audre Lorde's cancer journals, and I've been tying that into what Rebecca has talked about around fear and dying. And I just want to read a quick passage. It says, "What is there possibly left for us to be afraid of after we have dealt face to face with death and not embraced it? Once I accept the existence of dying as a life process, who can ever hold power over me again?" And so I'm sitting with all the potent and really beautiful ways that we have talked about stepping into our own soul power around working through fear and acknowledging death and transformation as parts of the package in the process. And I'm just holding a lot of deep and unwavering gratitude, because I feel like it is helping me not just on my own liberation journey, but like collectively, because the collective benefits when we all step into our power and our medicine, we have something to give back and something to offer in that way. And so I'm just holding deep gratitude in many things. That's all.
So good. It's so, so good. I love how connected this community is. Um, it is so wonderful. That passage was truly powerful. I'm not familiar with those, but if you will just email the book, because I didn't know that there was a journal of her writings.
It is very short, and it
Mhm.
talks about her experiences with breast cancer and her radial mastectomy, but it is also just like a recipe for like,
Oh,
there is no excuse for none of us not to be doing our work, regardless of the conditions that we are living under, period. And she talks about like coming face to face with death and pain. And she's like, we go through that anyways with silence. You know, in silence, we sit through the pain and the discomfort. A lot of us are in pain, but the only option is for that pain to change, right? And we can be moved out of silence and into action through doing our work and just navigating it in community and with support. So yeah, everybody, please, it is amazing. Just read it. I have so many passages highlighted if you need some sort of like inspiration or motivation or whatever. You just want to feel connected to this ancestor and her body of work, like in moving forward and being inspired to live into your own work. Just it is text. It is sacred text for me. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. I cannot wait. I have bought so many books because of y'all. Um, I also want to tie that into something that, and I'm sure I'm going to get this or I'm going to misquote you, but I know that I have it written down. But just in keeping with that thread, um, and we deal with the hurt and the pain, but you said something before about not being able to stand close to someone else's unintended fire and not expect to get burned. And so as we're talking about like this this placement, this ownership, this understanding of where we get to be in newness, I'm brought back to that understanding that, again, when people speak death, hurt, pain over into our lives, it is problematic because for whatever reason, we think that we must stand to prove our ability to withstand, when really the wisdom is in the leaving. It is the discarding. It is the letting go. It is in the acceptance and allowing of their untended fire to do what it's going to do, rage someplace, but our knowing that our hurt has to change, has to shift because we have something to do. We are purposed towards something. This is, in fact, getting in the way. You might burn my hands, but if I'm a surgeon, I need these. So if I am someone who pours love, peaceful warrior, remedy, if I am someone who pours love, who uses love as my freedom work, as my liberation work, then if you hurt my heart, it is hard for me to do the work that is inherent to my being. The newness says that we get to do something different. We get to practice something different every single day. Woo. Okay. I'm gonna pause there. Sweet tea and then Sally, come on.
Thank you, Adande. Hello, Spirit Rising family. And I want to reiterate what Elizabeth said and Stacy, everything you said, I feel too. I just, the growth of all of us through the years. And Elizabeth said, she hasn't really filed everything away with the Spirit Rise and stuff. I got a 2-inch, look at this. That's my file from 2019. This is 2 inches of stuff. And this is now I do it on single pieces of paper, but I used to be doing it in my journal. So I got many pages in my journal. And so I just have a folder and I just put every week. And this is half notes. This is half words and just notes from every week. And so I keep it. There's a lot of gems there. Rededication. I'm rededicating myself to Actually, I'm going to start rereading my journals. I'm going to start with 2016 when I formally started writing on a daily basis. So I have 6 years or 7 years of journals since 2016 of regular writing. And so I'm going to start with January 1st of 2016. And every day I'm going to read that day of 2016 starting next tomorrow. And it will be interesting. I actually started reading some other journals I did that were a journal where I have like 5 years on in one notebook, and I started reading that today. And so it's interesting. Just the growth of all of us. It's just amazing. I came in here, Spirit Rising, so sad, so lonely. So lonely. And I remember sitting one seat away from Carolyn when I went into the rooms of Empower Institute. And I see all our journeys and our challenges that where we were and where we are now. And I think it was 2 weeks ago, just hearing about the growth of all of us over the 5 years or more or less. Carolyn's putting into practice and into being her Earth Wisdom School. Lizzie is branching out and being in public with her songs she released. And then we see, and I see, through the challenges of the ups and downs, and where I'm back into, rededicating myself to the path of liberation for all of us, which I've always been on that path. But over the last few months, I had to reflect and see where I'm going next. And I'm grounded in the next iteration of what that is. And I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago how I'm the happiest I've been in my adult life right now, because I am stepping away from patriarchy and capitalism. And I'm not going to get crazed by that. And if I do, I just step away and I rebalance myself. And I started writing today to a friend a letter. I'm going to write a letter to a friend. I haven't written a letter. I haven't received a letter. I'm like thinking about letters. When's the last time I had a letter? I'm writing a friend a letter. And one of the things I started writing about, like, when was the first imprinting of me happened? When did that start? When was the last time I was happy? When I was a little kid, but when did it stop? But the imprinting started when my parents named me, and my birth parents named me, and then my parents named me, and I had a genderized name. When I had a genderized name, that's imprinting. Them calling me Tina. I wonder the people who have a neutral name or a non-gender name when they're born and what that is. How do they feel? And then learn about gender, right? When their parents named them with a non-genderized name. But I feel that's the first imprinting was when I was called by my name, and that it was genderized. And then I wrote a little thing in the letter about pink and blue. And I hated pink. I hated wearing pink when I was little. I love pink now. I love wearing pink because it looks good on brown skin. It brings out my color really nicely. I love wearing pink now, but I get to pick and choose to put on pink. And I hated pink, and I hated that blue, light blue, and for boys and pink for girls. I hated that labeling from the get-go. Like, that's imprinting. So, and then just as Lizzie said, in terms of the community, people are here from California and way on, yonder, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. And so having the larger group and people moving away like Carolyn and still being here, and everybody here in community in St. Louis. So having that, being able to be together. Thank you.
One, Sweetie, that was awesome. This highlighting of like when the imprinting began, that just blew my, and I know this is like a newness and not like a back, but by the name, like I've never thought that far back about how immediately, I mean, we could go to the birth certificate and whatever, but that's something written that as a baby we have no knowledge of, but we are taught our name. And we are taught whether or not our name is more masculine or traditionally feminine. And then we're taught to align down those. So now I'm just thinking about all of the ways that imprinting continues to happen where we've kind of given over our choice, but unintentional surrender, not what Stacy is saying, which is intentional. You are intentionally choosing, because there is a not even a surrendering, but there is like a force, upon us. There's violence upon us that says that we must think and be and respond and act. And the newness is that no, I don't. I absolutely do not. I can't stand pink. It might look good on me. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't wear it. Never have. Don't think I ever will. Please don't put me in pink, like ever. If y'all around somebody that puts me in pink, just like pinch their ear or something. So, but you're right. Pink, dark skin looks amazing. Wear that. And not because it has anything to do with anything that is gendered or anything that somebody told us. And maybe that's the decision that we need to make on a regular basis. Am I doing this because it is true to my spirit, or am I doing this because I think that I have to perform something for someone to be in alignment with something that ain't got nothing to do with me? I choose alignment. I choose my alignment. You can get in line or you can step off. Sally?
Sweet Tea, I noticed that you left yourself off of the list of growth. And one who ran for elected, now stop and listen. Keep smiling. You left yourself off of the list of growth. You put yourself out into a community. You ran a campaign and you won the first time. And however difficult that was, once you were elected, you stayed. And so to see that in you is inspiring. You could have just, whatever, but you did do that. And that is part of the growth that we all see when we walk into this space. Stacy sees it. That's why she said, I come back. I'm here I missed a couple of times, and I don't like missing because I feel off for that week. What happened in that meeting? I know I missed some jewels that could help me through my week. But I just wanted to lift you up in that list of Lizzie, and I can't remember who else you named, but absolutely in that growth. And then Tamira, thank you for that cancer journey, the journal. Yes, I will be purchasing that today. But in my life, I faced that. I faced cancer, and my situation wasn't as dire, but I faced it. And when you put it to, if I can face down death and not embrace it, what have I to fear? Which is going to inform my steps from now on. Just that piece there. And I heard it in different ways as I was going through it. And I pull on it every once in a while, but I have to write that down and place that in my on my altar so that I see that on a daily basis. And then also I want to see the color purple. First time I saw it was in a room with 75 women and one man. It was the it was a pre-showing before it was released by a women's club from a church. And I saw it with two of my best friends from high school in a room full of women. And to hear the collective sighs and he did that whole thing, and the oh hell no song. I mean, it was so empowering. It was so empowering. And then I went to see it the day after with my daughter. And again, I'm listening to her cry, she's listening to me cry. And when they got to the Here I Am song, I'm tearing up now because it was so incredible to understand that life is not going to be without its struggles. Life's not going to be without its hills to climb and the barrel through the whatevers. But once you get to the other end of that, you're still here. Now what? And I think that's where I am right now. Now what? And I'm figuring out the now what's, which is really fun because I have time to do the now what's. I'm not tied down to 5 day a week going to school and teaching children and that which I love to do, but I'm not tied down to it. So I have time to do me and what creatively is going to happen when I do me. Yeah. And Adandi, thank you, because you mentioned that Momo's readings were about dance. Mine were all about music. All about music. Self-Determination Symphony. Girl.
They were.
Yes. The chorus. Of course. The chorus. I'm looking at this like faith. What? Yeah. So it's interesting how that got split up. Yeah. But that's the spirit that rises in this spirit space. So again, I love being here, and I looking forward to see how we continue to do what we do for each other in 2024. So yeah.
You know, you just called out the music, and I didn't have my pencil in hand, so I wasn't writing, and I lost the thoughts of what I wanted to highlight.
Yeah.
Perhaps it'll come back. However, yes, because I was just listening. I'm like, yep, yes. Also, thank you for giving Sweet Tea an opportunity to see herself by reflecting her actions back to her. That is so important. When it is missed, when we forget to see ourselves, we see the greatness, our eyes look outward, right? But we need others who can reflect that back to us. Thank you for doing and holding that. I sure wish I could have quoted you. I should have had my pencil in my hand, but I was just listening. But it is amazing how that alignment worked. I promise it was not on purpose. Didn't even think about it. Just put names down a row and went about my business. But that is what happens when I spirits are rising. Ashe, thank you. Carolyn, then Momo.
I was the one that read the Foundations of Practice, and I'm thinking about how often we talk about personal transformation and being of one piece with collective liberation, and just feeling that so deeply in this time. And I think that I've been, other than Rebecca, I think I'm the one that's been in this community the longest. Now, Bertini, correct me if I'm wrong. I know you're a real old timer here as well, but I believe that is true. I believe I've been in this community for about going on 8 years. And I think that this has been the most glorious year for our community. I really believe so. There is just this, and Bertini's saying agreed and not challenging my history. Thank you. I just see us all quickening and blossoming, and And like, I'm gonna lift up Sweet Tea. Like, I mean, Sweet Tea is coming in so liberated from the bondage of achiever culture, right? And Stacy, what you were saying about like, yeah, that you're called to be an extension of this lineage of liberation. You know that. And everyone in this space knows that in some way. But now you know that you're called to do this in a way that nourishes your body and soul. And you're making that change, and we're celebrating that with you, and it's glorious. And I see like everyone in some way is in this space, coming into a fuller expression of who they are, a freer expression. And for myself, I think this last year has also been perhaps the most significant year of my life. And I want to share this. There's two movements in me. One is I'm more capable of feeling love and belonging. That, I can say like I've never noticed that I had so much love in my life as I do now. Like I noticed that I'm wanted. I've noticed that people love me. I noticed that I have friends. I noticed that I belong here. And I didn't have that capacity before. There was a core wound that would still insist on something different. And, when one of you all reaches out to me or a friend outside this space, I take time to notice this person loves me. This person just reached out to me because they love me. And that is precious. But the other thing I want to share is that I discovered at the end of my sabbatical that I've been chronically ill for 30 years because of a chronic stress disorder, and how chronic stress and hypervigilance was wired into my brain, and how it was at first something that was somewhat culturally conditioned and reinforced, but then I continued in pathways of practice that wired in this hypervigilance into my brain, creating chronic illness and chronic pain. And I've always been living in great paradox of, being in one way a gifted soul, in another way living in torment of pain. And I started, and Lizzie helped me find this path. I started this program called Primal Trust, and it's intense. It's intense learning of how to be well. And I'm in a program with all these people that, people are bedridden, people have cancer, people have been sick for decades, and they're just like me. And I respect all of these people so much. And I'm learning to be well. I'm learning to be well. I'm getting over the habit of being my old self. And I used to really feel like a victim in life all the time, that I just felt like I'm being victimized by some mysterious syndrome of unwellness that no one can figure out. And certainly medicine wasn't going to help, because it never did. And then I started this program, and I have a whole different attitude, because I'm like, oh, in response to culture, I wired this into my system and into my brain, but I'm not my brain, and I can unwire it. I can unwire this. And there are amazing tools that are helping me. And every step I take on this path of unwiring the conditioned operating system of patriarchy and chronic stress and competitive individualism, like every step I take I become more me, but I also become more receptive to love. And so I'm feeling more love than I've ever felt in my life. I'm feeling more love because I have more space from chronic stress that dehumanizes us and takes us out of our hearts. And so I think that this is the most magnificent year for our community, but it's also the most magnificent year for me. And I'm so happy that I know that I can be well and be more whole. And so I just finished my first round of Primal Trust. I think I've been doing it for like 5 months, and I did a so-so job on all these practices. It's kind of intensive, and I did a so-so job, but my attitude transformed tremendously. And so, I just celebrated getting through, and now I'm starting again. And I'm going to keep going through and going through and going through until I'm well. And I know I can do it. And I just visited my mom, and it was the first time I was in my mom's house without being miserably unwell the whole time. And it just felt like a miracle to be there and to not be in extreme pain. So I'm celebrating. It's a new path. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Definitely I'm just loving that partnering of, kind of spirit rising, flourishing in a year, and you being able to see, witness, and then call that out, but then also understanding how amazing of a year this has been for you. And this idea of noticing, I was caught by this notion of remembrance of chronic pain and chronic illness, and now being a space of noticing more love and belonging, and how that is contradicting the former. That is the portal to doing things in a new way. When you said I'm not my brain, I can rewire is a concept that I love when people remind me of, because I forget. but I love to hear that. You made me think of this Usain Bolt quote when you said, I just finished this 5 months I am learning to be well, which I just think needs to be someplace, everywhere. I am learning to be well. But this idea that I completed one cycle, but I'm not done yet. So I'm going to do this cycle again because I'm learning to be well. And then I'll do it again because I'm learning to be well. And Usain Bolt said, after breaking whatever record he did, that he trained for 4 years to run 9 seconds. And people think that we need to see progress in a couple of months. That's what I heard you say. I'm learning, I'm practicing, I'm in this space. And we don't realize how long we got to train to see it actualized. Once we're learning, and eventually we will make good on all of those many practices. It's amazing and beautiful. And yes, thank you I think I wrote something else down, but I'm gonna stop with those two. Thank you for those. Ashe. Momo.
Hey, okay, so I high key forgot the question, but I kind of just want to tell a story anyway, so it's okay. So yesterday, so I've been studying and I'm learning basically to fail. But yesterday, I was like done studying and I was like, I really feel free. Like I was like skipping down the street. It was like one of those like really weird, happy, toxic commercials. Like that was me. Like I was just skipping and twirling down the street in the rain. But I like mentally, I felt free and I felt this test twice. And it's something that I feel like, well, I need to do in order to get the things that I need to get, which is more money in my letters. That's besides the point. But something shifted in my brain where I was just like, I get the test now. And I kept on saying, like, this is not my reality because I was thinking about, like, when you sit in the seat of this time test, what happens is for me, I start thinking about all the self-conscious things like I'm not good enough for this. I said I wouldn't do this, my breakup, all these things. And so I was sitting here studying. I was like, actually, I want these things to come up now before I get into that space next week. And I kept on saying, this is not my reality. Like, I'm not who I was a year ago because this has been a year-long test that I failed twice. Like, I'm not that same person. I look at the test differently. I am different. I see different. I've had to let things go in order for me to be in this space because the thing was either I could sacrifice this thing that I need for my career or I can sacrifice, I can like martyr and continue doing the things that I was doing that was not working for me because my life literally got on fire. And so I was thinking about that. And then I'm thinking about imagery. So like I'm into really like checkered right now. And I was like window shopping last night. And like I keep going back to 70s, 60s and 70s. And I've always gone back to 60s and 70s era. Like even in my grandma's closet, I would go in her closet when I was younger. I would collect all her things. And I feel like my era is like this vortex of energy where I shapeshift into what I feel art is. And so, what I plan to dedicate to myself is literally be the art, like wear the art. So, again, back to the 70s era, like different patterns and shapes, and even like bell bottoms. I'm not a bell bottoms person. Okay, I'm a skinny jeans era person, okay? But I'm gonna put on these bell bottoms. I'm going to put on these boots. I'm going to wear these platforms and I'm going to wear these crop tops and whatever messages that need to come through that needs to come through that. And so I just feel like really excited to continue to like express myself through clothing and like adore myself and just shift who I am because I feel like I need to visually see that. Like I really am believing that I am a performance artist and a visual artist. And what does that look like? And so I've just been having fun playing and like reshifting who I am and chopping my hair off and doing like all these different things because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because it makes me feel good and I don't need to know. And so I just want to continue to embrace that.
Yes, yes, yes. I one can also see you skipping down anybody's street in the rain, just kind of frolicking along. Um, I think everything that you said is in perfect alignment with what you bring to this space. Um, there's a fresh, youthful space that you harness. Oh gosh, so let me stick on this thought of Dante that you harness. You said like where the beauty and and this intentional way. When you began with learning to fail, I kind of thought we were going in a different direction, but you still brought this back to this joyful, gleeful understanding that learning and growth and transformation doesn't have to be difficult. It can be fun and entertaining and full of joy if we allow it to be. If we kids play all the time and that's how they learn and we forget that we get to do that. And I am super grateful that that is always at the forefront of who you are and how you bring wisdom into this space. We all learn to be a bit more of our child selves again by way of you. And we all have an opportunity to expand that a little bit more because of you. We know if nothing else, Momo gonna be like, but my inner child said. So that's gonna make us think, well, what is my inner child saying? And how come Momo inner child get to play in the rain and mine's sitting in the corner somewhere? I need to let her go outside and play. And we're gonna trip and we're gonna fall and we're gonna skin our knees and then we're gonna put the little stinky stuff on it at a band-aid and go right back outside because it's fun outside. That's where we play. That's how we learn. I just know not to jump off that curb again. We're learning, we're doing, and that is how we learn how to feel in those experiential ways. So yes, yes, and yes. Thank you for just a reminder that one, that failure is a consistent learning process, but we don't have to do it with an air of resisting, absolutely, or resistance. I want to be mindful of the time. It is 1:14. I had a schedule to end exactly on time, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. But I do want to move forward so that we can actually get to the rededication part and then to our closing, if it is okay. Are there any other burning desires in the room to speak? If not, then I will pass the mic to Sweet Tea.
Thank you, Adande. Before I start, I would like to bring Teama on and have her begin with her singing bowls.
Thank you so much, Sweet Tea, Adande, and all. This is my first time playing them on Zoom, so if someone can give me a cue in the chat once I start, if the sound is at a good level, and I'm just so grateful to be here with y'all at the turning of this time. Thank you all.
Rededication occasion. Envision now a life where every action, every thought, every word is infused with the essence of the divine. Imagine a world where our collective dreams and aspirations are woven into the very fabric of reality, where the boundaries between the self and the spirit are blurred, and we live in a state of constant communion with the divine. This is our calling, our sacred duty, to live a life that is vibrant tapestry of love, joy, and spiritual fulfillment. As we step into this new season, let us do so with hearts wide open, ready to receive the abundant blessings that the Spirit has in store for us. May this rededication be a beacon of light, guiding us towards a future where every step we take is an act of sacred partnership with the divine. Let us move forward with courage, faith, and an unshakable belief in the power of our own spirits to co-create a world of beauty, harmony, and endless possibility. Welcome to this new season, a time of spiritual awakening and divine collaboration. Let us embrace it with all the love, joy, and ecstasy that our hearts can hold.
As we gather today on this sacred day in preparation for a sacred night, a night of watching, of reflection, of renewal, we stand at the crossroads of time, the past and the present, and the future. On this day of Kuumba, rooted in the creative flow, on this day at the precipice of newness, old year's night, I just learned that. This here watch night, we are reminded of the enduring cycles of the season. The darkness always turns to light. We acknowledge our own inner light and a gift from our creator. I'm gonna ask just one person to come off mute and repeat after me. I encourage you all to, if you would like to participate in this sort of rededication moving forward, just place a hand over your heart and then repeat after me. Sweet Tea, are you gonna? Oh no, you got your eyes closed. See, one person to come off mute for me.
Mhm.
Stacy, wonderful. This day we dedicate ourselves anew, so let us speak our truth. Please repeat after me. I am a vessel of divine purpose.
I am a vessel of divine purpose.
I dedicate my soul to the reality of my own divine alignment.
I dedicate my soul
to the reality of my own
alignment.
I dedicate my soul to honoring the legacy.
I dedicate my soul to honoring the legacy
of those who came before me.
Of those who came before me.
And the wisdom that lives in me.
And the wisdom that lives in me.
I dedicate my soul to courage.
I dedicate my soul to courage.
And deep living faith.
And deep living faith.
I will step forward.
I will step forward.
Guided by my light within.
Guided by my light within.
Thank you. May the blessings of this night, this day, infuse our journey into newness ahead. Go forth with the strength of our ancestors, the wisdom of the ages, the light that shines within you, and your divine, deep love and knowingness. Our closing song is it's a bit long, so I think we can skip that part. Maybe I'll edit some things in, we'll see. But Carolyn, I invite you to close us in prayer.
Praise, 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 bless, 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 bless. We just open our hearts in shouts of thanksgiving for this overflowing cup of blessing. May we depart with our interconnection, holding our hearts in deep reverent devotion to our own soul's journeys in this coming year. We give thanks to love holding us here and for sourcing us in our journeys of liberation as we depart. Bless, 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 bless.
Ashe and amen. I am so happy and filled with joy that you all agreed to participate. I hope that it was surprising. I only sent your little piece, so no one knew what anyone else was doing or conversations that had been had, because I wanted you all to be able to fully just kind of live into the moments. But thank you for co-weaving this with me. It was a joy to experience. This has been a beautiful and blessed year that we have shared, and I am certain that there is so much more beauty to come for us as individuals, but definitely for us as a collective. Thank you for leaning in this year as we have dreamed into expansion and other such pieces. It's been a pleasure to watch what we could come up with. I am super excited about what's in store for us. So if there are any final reflections, thoughts?
Dear Adande, can you email us some of those readings, especially that final rededication? Can you email us the words of that and the other passages that you invited people to share were so precious? Please share them with us.
Yes, I will just send out the thing. You all can have the complete script now. Everybody already read it.
Do it. And if you can, do it today so we can maybe this evening hold some of that rededication prayer. Urena's saying the same. You blessed us big time.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear one, for being the conduit of spirit that you are.
Absolutely.
I was actually asking Spirit and trying to figure out what words I wanted to use as what's the word that people mantra. And I think both what you were saying, Adande, and then also what Sweet Tea was saying was right up that alley for me.
Wonderful. I will send out the entire script in just a moment.
Thank you.
Look at the cast that joined us. Oh, do. Okay. I think Tamir joined us earlier too.
Everyone.
I'm sorry, Lizzie, say it again.
Just saying love you, everyone. Just saying Happy New Year, love you all. So good to be here.
Blessings, everyone. Happy New Year.
Much love.
Happy New Year, everyone. This was wonderful.
Much love, light, and profound joy to each and every one of you in 2024. See you.
Thank you, Raina.
Y'all next year.
Thank you, Mama Urena.
Bye.
Bye.
To be here. Thank you.